What's up, everybody? It's your boy G with Dad XP, the MMO Dad Guild, where we grind in-game and IRL. So this video, I want to kind of talk about how video games and these MMOs in particular have helped me stay consistent or do the things that are boring, even though they're necessary to get any end result. And I'm sure y'all can relate. We play these games, and if you know, to level up or like do certain things, we find ourselves, being stuck in a certain task and doing it over and over for hours on end. And it's with an end goal in mind, right? And I could do this for hours. I know my childhood, I played a ton of games, and all I did was game all the time, and I started feeling bad about it, right? And then I started reframing it. I reframed it to actually work in my favor, to be productive on other things outside of playing video games all the time. And I mentioned this in the last video, and I think it's important to really lean into this, because reframing and just changing perspective on how you see certain things can really help you just unlock maybe that thing that is holding you back. So I realized that there's certain aspects of like playing games for 10, 12 hours a day that actually helped me out. So like the first thing that comes to mind is like screen stamina, right? So it was very easy for me to play WoW for 12 hours a day. And then later down in life, like a few years ago when I was really in the grind, I was working my remote 9 to 5, but then I'd wake up at 4 in the morning, and from 5 to 9 before work, I would build out my course. I was doing a bunch of, research and prepping classes. I was giving like English coaching, basically just teaching English to Spanish speakers. And then I'd work my 9 to 5, and then from 5 to 9, I'd have these scheduled calls. And I would be online all day, and of course, it wasn't easy, but it was doable. People would be like, how can you stay in front of a computer all day? And I joked about how, I did it when leveling to 60 back in the day. I did it when I was leveling agility in RuneScape. And then I thought about it, and it actually did help. Or at least I choose to tell myself that that's exactly what influenced it, right? So I could stay in front of a computer for hours, and when it was only video games and I did nothing else outside, I felt, shame. I felt, I'm wasting my life away. I'm like lacking in a bunch of things. But then, you try to find the same way you got addicted to these games. You find yourself getting addicted to just make it to something productive, right? So I started working on my business, that first business, and I was able to get a lot of work done, and, I had the endurance to stick through long hours of work. And then the other thing that it helped me with is with my weight loss and gym journey, where, there's days I don't want to go to the gym. There's days I don't want to stay in my calorie deficit, but I do it anyways because I know there's an end goal. So you just kind of slot out in your mind, like, instead of doing rooftop agility courses on RuneScape for literally hundreds of hours, you get full graceful. But in this case, to get the body that I feel good in for my health, for my longevity, that is now full graceful. And the rooftops is showing up to the gym every single day, right? So you make it work for you. And you've probably heard or watched videos online about like gamifying your life to where it feels like a video game. And there's something to that, and that's something that I'm trying to really cultivate here, because it's what worked for me, right? I talked about how I did 75 hard, which is this challenge where for 75 days you stick to a diet, you drink a gallon of water a day. You have to do 2 workouts. One of them has to be outside. You have to read 10 pages, and you have to take a selfie, right? And you do those 5 objectives every single day. and I found myself that whenever I was presented a list of objectives that I had to do, I was able to adhere to it, and I actually fully completed it twice now. And I talked a little bit about why I kind of started gravitating away from that, because it's a little intense and not very sustainable, but it did help me show myself that I could develop that discipline, and that's the whole point of that challenge. And I realized it like, I started seeing it like doing WoW dailies in real life. And like the simple act of like opening up the app, the 75 hard app, and like checking off the boxes, it was like getting that laundry list of dailies done. And it felt gamified, right? And there was like a habit tracker, there's a progress tracker, similar to like an experience bar. And just having these little things, like that tiny tweak of just like making the habit and a UI that looks fun and like gamified to use, helped me find that consistency and discipline. It helped me get the discipline to kind of move forward. But now, I just do a bit more of a balanced thing. And I talked about this in the last video too, where during 75 hard I went full throttle, like David Goggins discipline. I cut out video games completely because I saw them as a distraction. And in the past 6 months to 10 months, or the past year or so, I've experimented with like not doing that and playing games, you know, obviously not 12 hours a day like back in the day, but every week I meet with my Dad XP group, our guild that I was mentioning earlier, completely free to join. Link is in the description if you're a dad that plays MMOs and but you are a dad now and you keep your priorities straight, but you want to carve out some time to game with the boys and, you know, shoot the shit, talk about what you're working on. We kind of support each other. So it's kind of like self-improvement with connecting over the games we like. But anyway, so ever since reintroducing games and just finding that balance, it's been way more sustainable. Same with food. On 75 hard, I couldn't have any sugar, no pizza, no burgers, no fried foods, and it was very effective. Like I said, it like helped me drop the weight, but obviously when I was off 75 hard, I'd quote unquote celebrate and just binge all that bad food. But now, you know, I just, you know, that 80-20 rule where like 80% of the time, if I'm not going out to a social event or I'm not going out with my family to eat, I'm sticking to my clean foods, you know, chicken breast, protein, ground beef, fish, and then swapping out rice and potatoes, sweet potatoes and veggies, and just eating, you know, that every day. And I'm okay with it because every few weeks, you know I'm going out to a restaurant or I go see some friends once a month and I'll eat pizza, I'll have some beers and have a good time, and it's fine. And then I just make sure to not fall off, and the next day I'm back in the gym, I'm back with my clean foods, my Greek yogurt and all that stuff, and it's worked out. Over the past 6 months, my weight has trended downward, and I'm drinking beer, I'm eating pizza, I'm eating the good stuff, and it's enjoyable. And I feel like this time I found something that's way more sustainable. So I say all that to just bring it back to the point of consistency. And like, if you can kind of swap out in your brain, because it worked for me and that's why I share it, and I hope it helps someone else, try to swap out those things that make it feel like you're just playing RuneScape or WoW in real life and see it that way, right? And that's what we're trying to cultivate with the school group. So yeah, I just wanted to rant about that a little bit today. And yeah, so if you're a dad and you like playing these games, I play every week. We hop on a call and just everyone plays whatever the game they want. You don't have to play the same game. No one's, you're not expected to raid or anything. We're all too busy to do any of that, right? But you can like play like a filthy casual and still connect with other dads and do your thing. But then on the call, we talk about like the challenges we had in the week with our toddlers. In my case, I have 2 toddlers and they're picky eaters. So I like talk about having trouble getting them to eat sometimes. And then another toddler dad that went through the exact same thing, or he's going through the same thing right now. He gives me advice on that. And then, so yeah, we kind of shoot the shit on that. And then me right now, I'm very honed in on my strength training and dropping my body weight. So, I'm hitting the gym 4 times a week and getting my cardio in and stuff. I have an Aura ring, tracking calories. I'm doing all that stuff. So I kind of give my 2 cents on that on the call. Another buddy of mine, he's working on switching jobs or starting a business. And another guy in our group, he's like focused on getting his finances in order, budgeting, just getting those priorities. So we keep the main thing, which is like improving outside of the games and keeping your priorities straight. But we play games about it. We still, hop on a call and play our MMOs and have a good time. So if that sounds interesting, you might want to check out the link under this video. It's completely free. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see y'all in the next one.